An Alaska Airlines pilot who almost crashed the plane on mushrooms speaks out. I called this, by the way, and I'm telling you, pilots are increasingly unstable. They are going to start trying to kill planes full of people. I'm telling you this because I want to warn you. I call it all. I said Lizzo was going to get thin. She's getting thin now. I've been right about that because the fat's turned on her. And when the fatty boom baddies turn on you, and she made a lot of money off the fatty boom baddies, but she goes, fuck it. Now she's getting thin. She's in the gym. She's doing the right thing. So because she goes, fuck it. She goes, fuck it. I've made enough money off these fatty boom baddies. They keep turning on me. Fuck these bitches. In the same way that I call that, I'm going to call this. There are going to be more stories of pilots who are going to try to kill, and I don't want to disturb anyone. They're going to try to kill planes full of people. I'm telling you it's going to happen because they want to make some, if we are to believe, which I don't, if we are to believe that Thomas David Crooks.
I don't even know now.
I don't even know. If we're to believe that this guy wanted to kill the president for no other reason than to leave some type of legacy, and that is a thing that is motivating mentally ill people, why would you not, as a pilot with a plane of people, try to do something similar if you were in a weird mental state? I want to be remembered for something, he says, just anything. Let's watch this pilot, and he was accused of trying to crash the plane.
I did something unfathomable to me, something I have to take responsibility for, and I regret.
This morning, Joseph Emerson, the Alaska Airlines pilot, now facing 84 charges after allegedly trying to take down a passenger jet in October, speaking on camera for the first time as he awaits trial.
Sarah and I would like our story to be of some value, right? We think it tells a larger story on pilot health.
It was last October when Emerson was catching a ride in the cockpit jump seat on a flight from Everett, Washington to San Francisco, when he says nothing felt real.
There was a feeling of being trapped. Like, am I trapped in this airplane? This is not real.
Go back. By the way, this is a pilot. This is how sick a lot of them are, not all of them. Look how sick this guy is. I want you to watch the smile here on his face when he talks about his attempt to down a jetliner full of people.
Feeling of being trapped. Like, am I trapped in this airplane? This is not real.
I mean, stop it. He's the Joker. This is who's in the air is the Joker. This is who's in the, and the wife is so horrified. She sleeps next to this guy. The wife is so horrified because she sleeps next to him. Keep going.
To wake up.
Emerson says he had taken psychedelic mushrooms for the first time 2 days before the flight, thinking they might help with depression, but believes he was still hallucinating during that flight. He stood up and pulled handles in the cockpit.
By the way, I've done mushrooms. I've done LSD. I've done mescaline. I have never thought, one of the realizations I had was not that I should down a jetliner full of people. Now, I'm not saying that can't happen. There are bad trips. People have all kinds of wacky reactions. I'm not advocating, but it is just funny. He's like, yeah, I took some mushrooms and, I just decided that it was time to kill everyone.
Were meant to shut off the engines in the case of a fire. It didn't work, and if it had, that could have brought the plane down.
There are 2 red handles in front of my face, thinking that I was going to wake up, thinking this is my way to get out of this non-real reality. I reached up and I grabbed and I pulled the levers.
Did you know what the levers were at the time?
What I thought is, this is gonna wake me up. I know what those levers do in a real airplane, right? And I need to wake up from this. It's 30 seconds of my life I wish I could change, and I can't. Observe the pilots react to the difficult situation that I just handed. And I said, you guys want me off the flight deck? I'm off the flight deck.
He left the cockpit.
That's hilarious. By the way, if you guys want me off the flight deck, like, hey guys, I know I tried to shut off the engines, and I'm just saying this. I'm a good sport. If you want me to leave, I'll leave. I get it. I did just try to shut the engines off. If you want me out of here, I'll go. I get it. I'm not a nut.
Listen to one of the pilots.
We've got the guy that tried to shut the engines down out of the cockpit.
Emerson says he then tried to grab the handle of an emergency exit door, but a flight attendant stopped.
By the way, and I'm telling you right now, I said it years ago. You can go find an old clip of me saying the only way Biden's going to get out is if he comes out in a debate and, and is like incoherent. That's the only way they're going to force him out. Otherwise, he's going to keep going. You can find that old clip from years ago. But years ago, I said, and I said the thing that's going to get the hairiest is air travel. The people that I noticed that are the most unstable are people that are working in air travel. I'm telling you, I am all over the place all the time looking at people, and I've never walked into a fruit farm stand and looked at someone who I felt was going through it the way that I felt like someone on an airplane was going through. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's altitude. I fly a lot. Am I the most sane? Probably not, but I'm not at the controls. These people are completely gone, many of them. Look at them. Just take a close-up of these people here. I'm telling you right now, all of the people that work in the airline, and I know this because I speak to them, the minute they land, they just do drugs for 48 hours. They go to a flop house and they do drugs for 48 hours because the job is so terrible. It's so terrible. I want a ginger ale. She's in my seat. You're mediating fights. The people are punching you in the face. As soon as they land, they immediately go to a dope den and get fucked up. I'm telling you, for 48 hours. They have the shakes when they get back into the plane a lot, and I'm including the pilots. Commercial aviation is getting incredibly dangerous. I don't care how many times they want to disguise it with a funny Southwest flight attendant that gets up there and is like, hey, y'all, I'm doing a little stand-up comedy for you. I'm telling you right now, at least every flight you're on, there's at least one person who should not be on that flight, and it's usually a member of the crew. It's usually a member of the crew. I'm telling you, watch out. I look at every cockpit now. Every cockpit. I try to look at the pilot and make a split-second decision if I'm going to get off the plane. I'm not kidding. I'm trying to make a split. I look at it and go, all right. I'm telling you, let's finish up with this guy, but I'm telling you right now, you need to care for yourself and your family, and you need to start looking at these pilots and observing them before they get on the plane. They're trying to kill you. I'm not kidding. It's not a bit. It's not a bit. You have to observe them if you can before they get on the plane. Get to the airport early. Get to the airport early and try to observe the pilots. Are they drunk? Do they seem like they're going through something?
Put my hand on the lever. I didn't operate the lever. She put her hand on mine. And I think around that period is when I said, I don't understand what's real. I need you to tough cuff me.
In the air, he texted his wife.
You text me, I've made a big mistake.
And what were you thinking at that point?
I was like, what in the hell is he talking about? And I immediately got on FlightAware because that's how I can track him. And I saw that the plane was diverted. And I think I texted him back, is this because of you?
Emerson says he'd been struggling with some form of depression ever since his best friend Scott suddenly passed away, but didn't turn to a psychiatrist for medication, worrying a formal diagnosis could end his career. He instead turned to alcohol and eventually those psychedelic mushrooms in October.
Coming into this, I hadn't really been sleeping a lot the night that I took the magic mushrooms, and I did not sleep that night. And so this cumulative sleep deficit, I believe, may have also impacted just my perception of what was going on.
Emerson now speaking about it all in the new documentary The New York Times presents Lie to Fly on FX, as he and his wife focus on increasing awareness about mental health in the cockpit.
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold the phone for 1 minute right now. This guy shuts the engines off mid-flight, and now this is his brand. This guy, I mean, what? This guy should like be barred from going near a plane for the rest of his life. This guy who tried to kill everyone mid-flight, him and his wife are now using this as their brand. They're going out and going, my husband tried to kill a bunch of people in midair. No one knows better about mental health than him. Pilot accused of trying to crash planes speaks out. The guy was trying to kill people, and now he's become the spokesman for mental health.
Quiet skies.
Keep quiet skies. I want to hear a little bit more about this. This is insane.
Right now, there's a perception out there that if you raise your hand and say something's not right, there's a very real possibility that you don't fly again.
At least one doctor saying at an NTSB summit in December, it's time to modernize the mental health regulations for pilots.
Who would you rather fly with, a pilot who's depressed or a pilot who's depressed on medication? And that's what it comes down to.
I think if pilots and controllers...
I mean, it's like, who would you rather fly with, a schizophrenic or a schizophrenic who's had a good breakfast? Who would you... I mean, what? Who would you rather fly with? A guy with multiple personality disorder or a guy that's well-rested and has multiple personality disorder? Who would you rather fly? I would rather fly with someone who's not depressed and has passed an evaluation, mental health. Sorry, don't want to be cruel. There's a lot of things depressed people could do, like comedy, for instance. Get on stage and tell a couple of funnies. I don't want you in the cockpit of a fucking plane. I don't think the good idea here, what we've learned from this, is not to get more depressed people in the cockpit of a plane, please. Who would you rather fly with? A schizophrenic who's lying about it or someone who's honest and says, I'm fucked up? Can you imagine that? What is this? No one wants to do this job. They're so desperate, I guess, for pilots that they're like, so what? He's depressed, but he's medicated. You know, I'm all for people taking medication for depression and other ailments, but I do believe, to be honest with you, there are certain jobs where the psych evaluation should be more rigorous. I apologize. There was that, play the German wings as they go, play the screams as they go into the mountain, please.
Lufthansa?
Yeah. Play the screams as they go into the mountain on German wings. They're trying to break down the cockpit door. They're trying to break down the cockpit door. And the pilot who has mental issues, here we go. Yeah, play it.
The captain screaming, "For God's sake, open the door." Passengers are also heard screaming. 5 minutes before impact, more bangs can be heard, metallic noises, as if someone was trying to knock the door down. 90 seconds later, another alarm goes off, warning, terrain, pull up. The captain again screams, "Open the damn door." 2 minutes before impact, the paper reports Lubitz can be heard breathing, the plane now only 13,000 feet from the ground. 10:40 a.m., investigators believe they hear the plane's right wing scrape a mountaintop, then screams once more from the 149 on board. Lubitz apparently stays silent.
Well, there you have it. And that's one of the reasons that I am a little bit of a tight ass when it comes to the mental health of pilots. Sorry.